Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely and talented and just all-around good guy host, Dylan.
This is a podcast of lies.
We are built on a throne of lies. No, that's not true at all.
I mean, I would beg to differ.
You're a stand-up guy. All right, pal.
It takes a lot for me to stand up nowadays.
Oh, come on. Making it sound like you're, in your 60s or something.
I'm exhausted.
Tired.
I'm so tired.
Yeah. Well, you have been working 2 jobs, so, hey, cut yourself some slack. You've been, as the kids say nowadays, rise and grind.
Right.
Just
I'd cut myself some slack, but everyone else is holding the scissors.
Never heard that one before.
Ugh.
You worked Black Friday for the first time at a retail store.
I did.
How was that?
It was hell.
I bet.
I walked into hell that day.
Nice.
I came out a broken man.
You came home and you looked exhausted. You looked tired.
If the floor was made of soft, I would have fell down immediately.
Crashed hard.
Yeah.
It was also like there's these moments. It doesn't happen often, but like you come home and I can tell you're tired. But I want to say that was also the day where it was raining a whole lot, and so your hair also
My hair was fucked.
It looked like really disheveled, like or just it didn't look bad. It looked like
it was the best I could do.
Right. It was it looked like you had definitely been in the rain earlier that day.
A sad house made of straw that sat upon my head.
So you like walked in the door. And not only did I could tell from your like countenance that you were like exhausted, but you also looked like you had been like physically through the ringer.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, dude.
It was. That's the first time that it felt hard to just stay upright.
Just stay up.
After standing behind a counter, just checking people out, looking for pickup orders that weren't there because people would come in before they're fucking ready.
I see.
And you'll get a notification when it's ready.
Yeah, but
they just don't wait.
No. Yeah. I had my family over on Friday, and I hosted them here at the house.
And a guffaw was had.
Yes.
Then a plate of food.
Well, like the family had brought food here, so Mallory and I made a dish or two, and it was not that big of a deal. But then for all of our friends, we hosted. So there was definitely like a 48-hour span where I felt like between cooking and cleaning, I felt like I didn't leave the kitchen at all. Mm-hmm. I was like, I kind of just don't want to be in here anymore. Yeah. And so anyways, just recounting our past days. It's been crazy.
Trials.
It's the holiday season for me, and so boy, does it start picking up around this time of year.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. But you threw a curveball at me tonight.
Oh, yeah?
I was not expecting this movie.
Lots of green in the room.
Yeah. I feel like
bits of code streaking down.
I feel like I'm in
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
But
Reloaded.
Yeah.
No empty magazine on this one.
Mm-mm.
It's a great one.
I think you only see a couple of people reload.
I think movie. I would wager 4 times did someone reload a gun in that whole film. Mm-hmm. And one time I don't even think was really necessary. Yeah. I think that Morpheus just loaded the gun just to do something with his hands.
Just to set the tone.
Yeah. And little tidbit of information, that was an extended mag clip too. Yep. So as if it wasn't good enough.
A fully automatic Glock.
Right. That had an extended mag on it. Mm. So
one of my favorite, if only, variations of that weapon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love
crazy. The look. It's been a while since we have watched the first Matrix.
Yeah.
I can't give you an exact date, but if I was to look up, if I was a good show host, I would already have that number in mind, but I do not. But I can find it.
Those of you who do know of that episode will have noticed that we are down a limb because Ethan is currently passed out.
Oh man, Ethan looked like he was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
he came here and he
talking
said,
like we have it rough.
right.
He's just dead on the couch.
He's just passed out. The funny thing is, he came in and said very little words to me.
Yeah,
We were like, because I was watching like a Netflix show with Mallory, and we were just sitting there as Ethan walked in, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? No big deal." Takes his shoes off, kind of gets cozy on the couch for a second, and then we're finishing up our episode, and that boy's out. So to be honest, he's been out for a while. But anyways, that's why I wasn't super. I didn't want to wake him up because I was like, it's fine. Mm-hmm. Let the guy rest.
Ain't no big deal.
Ain't no big deal. But what I can say, now stop me if stop me if you have heard this before.
Uh-huh.
I loved this movie.
Oh man.
Never
in my life
I have guessed. I am going to throw this in the hat with other sequel films that are really good. Uh-huh. Can you believe this? Okay, wait a second.
Yeah. I don't believe it.
I'm flabbergasted right now.
I don't believe it.
Could you? Okay, sorry. For those of you at home who have no idea what's happening in the room right now,
we'll ask them if they can believe it.
Yes. Can you believe what's happening right now? I want you to throw out a guess as to when we watched the first Matrix.
It's at the same day.
And if you can,
Is it the same month?
if you can give me, I'll give you 2 points. If you can guess the correct day and the correct month.
Okay. I'm gonna throw the month out first. November.
Okay. What date do you think it was on? 1 to 30/31, depending on what month you think it is.
I want to say 30.
Okay. So not only are you close, you're pretty close. Right. It was December 31st.
Fuck.
December 31st of last year.
Oh damn. We're a month off. We should have waited.
I know. I really.
Shit.
Wow.
Start off the new year. Damn it.
I know. We watched The Matrix. Now, do you remember what the name of that episode was?
Oh, shit.
It's a good one.
It is. I remember, but I don't.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It'll come to you. I'll save it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But anyways, I loved the original Matrix. It was really good. It was a very great.
Was it Morpheus?
No, it was not Morpheus. No.
Damn it.
It was a really great starting film, but boy, did this sequel.
It's got a freaking follow up.
This sequel film had the legs. The Matrix walked, so that way Reloaded could run. Is what it felt like. Man,
full on sprint.
It started off
a cave rave,
a whole ass cave rave.
Yes,
dude, this film from the get go, I was like, man, I'm in. I love it. It was. I mean, we get like we get Trinity blasting through a window, just like shooting guns, cool like 3D-esque animation that's going on. It looks super good. And then
fighting a couple of agents.
Yeah, and then drives a motorcycle off of a building, and then unnecessarily explodes, and
it's completely necessary.
Right. And then almost the first few dialogue lines from a main character in this film were "I'm in," and I was like,
it couldn't be more perfect.
I was like that. If this is what sets the tone for this film, I'm ready. And it did, and it kept it going. And I was like, man, this just scratches that itch for me.
Right. So, Trinity dies.
Or at the top of the movie is what it comes across as.
Shot through the heart.
And it was too late. You gave a bad name.
A bad name right here. Love's reputation straight down the shitter.
Right. But then in many an action movie or sci-fi.
Yes, the how did we get here moment.
Right. Neo wakes up with Trinity in his arms. He's like, and it's like, oh no.
Same
maybe
as it ever was.
Maybe a vision of the future, potentially.
It's got future sight.
Yes, exactly. I realized halfway through watching this film that I probably should have been taking notes.
Yeah. Might have been a good idea.
I was really enjoying watching the movie, and so I didn't.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I don't stop myself to write notes if it's going to like impede me like enjoying the movie, because obviously at the end of the day, that's my main prerogative here is just to enjoy watching a film with my friend.
Yeah.
But man, there are
so many.
There's so many great things.
There's a lot.
I loved Morpheus, his like monologue in the cave.
Yeah. The speech.
The pre-cave rave, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah, his hype speech about like, and we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
That's proof enough.
Right. The Cave Dwellers concert, if you would.
Yeah, Cave Dwellers concert. A little Donkey Kong action.
Yeah, for real. Okay, I'm sorry. Tangent
Tangent time.
When are we going to finish Donkey Kong Country?
Whenever I feel like I can muster up enough.
When are we going to finish Armored Core?
Chutzpah. Okay. Now.
I'm tearing them all out. Setting a
know.
match to these ticks.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to remember the scene, like the sequence of events at the top of the movie, because I remember like the first act of this film. So they end up like taking what is the ship called again?
The Nebuchadnezzar.
The Nebuchadnezzar, which is also kind of funny as well, coming from a biblical standpoint.
Right, of course.
Is bringing the ship into dock back at Zion, and all these people like showering Neo with gifts as if he's like some sort of messiah, which is like really cool in and of itself. Yeah. There's just this, I don't know, it's just this really cool, like he really gets a chance to like come back home and kind of be normal in some sort of way.
Not the word I would have used,
but I mean, he tries to. He tries, but it's not
nobody lets him.
No. But yeah, man, I just remember.
What you think of that Zion, by the way?
It's really
as a
cool
subterranean
looking.
Refuge for humanity.
So at first, looking at it, I thought it was like because it like looks like a big tube that like goes down with all these like little connecting bridges and stuff.
Yeah.
And from what I remember of the original Matrix, like the area in which the pods was very similar looking. So my first question was like, is this some sort of like abandoned?
I just remember the name of the episode.
You did?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah. You mind sharing with the class?
What were those pods filled with, you think?
I mean, I think they were filled with humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were the humans being used as?
Some sort of power source, if you will.
Yeah.
And also covered in a substance that was not
goop.
Goop.
Human battery goop.
Yeah, human battery goop. No, that's it. That is exactly what it is.
Oh man.
Anyways, that area looked very similar to that, at least from what I remember.
A wee bit.
And so what I was thinking was, is this some sort of like abandoned or like some sort of facility where they were all held at that they end up cleaning out or something?
Well, I want to say it was human made.
I believe you. I really don't have any knowledge of it. But anyways, dude, the action of this movie is so pleasant to watch.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Because it is like a early 2000s movie. You can tell when some of the punches and kicks don't connect.
Right.
And that you can kind of feel it.
You can tell when someone's got strings on them.
Yeah, and they start flying real far. Physics is out the window along with their body.
Many a Smith was sent through the air.
Oh, man. I mean, in a tumbling fashion.
Yes.
I love that, like, the first, like, sequence that we get of Neo in the Matrix, he, like, charges up like he's about to, like, do... for any of you guys out there who have ever played The Force Unleashed, whenever you get to do, like, the like the actual like unleashed force power or whatever. It has that same sort of vibe where like he gets on one knee and really like just gathers up all the enough
charges his ki,
enough power. Yeah, right. Enough chakra that he's able to like cause a shockwave around him and then blast into the air like Superman. And then I said that I was like, oh, look at that guy, like freaking Superman. And then one of my favorite characters, Link.
Yeah,
is like, he's out there doing his Superman thing again. I was like, that's so funny. But the fight sequences, especially that one crazy one.
Yeah. Which one? You mean all of them?
I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. It's the one with all the Smiths.
Yes.
There's
but like which one? Though?
It's the big one, the one in the courtyard with the Oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone knows it. I made a joke while the fight was going on because there's a point in time during the fight where Smith, which one? One of them stands there. One of them standing there and just goes, "We need more."
So
and then of course, all of a sudden,
my favorite interaction is when he takes over the one agent, and he's like, and then after he turns the agent, he's like, "Me too, me too."
It's
so stupid.
It's so quirky.
I love
funny. I love how it is an action movie, but it still has enough lightheartedness to it that I just love it. I think it's really
great.
It's fun. It's so fun. And it feels like a really good action movie.
Yeah.
But anyways, I made the joke that I was like, he keeps saying more, and then like 20 more.
Yeah, 50 billion Smiths.
There's so many more
flooding into the
and then
courtyard.
and at this point in time, he has not been able to take down Neo in the slightest.
No, he's just holding him off.
5, 50.
Kicking his ass even.
And I made the comment, I was like, I'm pretty sure that Neo gets a plus damage multiplier.
The Smith buff.
Yeah, exactly. The more Smiths that are around, the more damage multiplier he has. So it's just like his combo is out the chart. He just is kicking ass. And then, of course, I mean, it's just here. If you haven't watched this film, just hear me when I say this. And then this is the kind of vibe that this fight goes. Neo gets fed up of like not just like slapping around with his fists and stuff, and then proceeds to grab a flagpole, I believe.
Right.
Rips it out the ground, and then
bashes knocking the concrete off of it.
Right, and then
bam, polearm.
Beautiful. He just keeps swinging it around, and it keeps making these like connected, like ping ting ping ting, but like weighty in a way. Where it sounds like people are getting hit with a baseball bat, but it's a man, doing acrobatic martial arts with a flagpole.
Right.
And you're like, yes, this is expected. I am supposed to be here.
Completely whelmed.
Yeah. I am completely whelmed with this circumstance. And then of course, whenever they dogpile him, and they eventually, I think they have him defeated, or they finally.
Right. It is inevitable.
Yeah, inevitable, and of course,
I love that they speak all at the same time at that. point.
Right. Then he just conjures up more power and then just blasts
explodes.
Away. Yeah. And then I will have to say one of my favorite points in time. Yours was the Me Too thing. Mine was whenever they're all standing there and they don't know what to do.
They just,
and then the crowd
just slowly look around.
The crowd just disperses like
I guess he's gone. We'll find him again.
Like a bunch of concert goers that
right,
are done at the end of the festival.
Folks, show's over.
Well, and of course,
to see here.
The 1 and 2 like that are like in main frame just kind of sit there and go like and proceed to fix their jackets or whatever and just accept defeat, I guess.
Right.
Like it was because it lingers.
We'll call it a draw.
It lingers just long enough to go, that's just what happened now.
What a character.
I love that.
What a fun little dude.
The slow motion, all these it's just
there's more than a few shots.
Oh, so much slow motion.
Gratuitous even.
I love the fact that we get more shots outside of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Because then it makes the Matrix scenes stand out more in the fact that there's especially towards the beginning part of the movie, there's like a real green hue to everything, like in the original movie. But I think towards the tail end of the movie, they kind of get away from some of that. or I think they still do have a tinge to it, but it's not quite as like iconic as like the first one, or
Definitely.
like the first few scenes in the movie. There's there's a couple of scenes where they're in a car and they're like outside, and it looks green, and so but yeah, it contrasts real well whenever they're like just in the real world and they're all like kind of scummy looking, like they're all got like holes in their shirts and kind of dingy, the grunge going on, and then of course they're all like cleaned and slick in the Matrix and everything's green. And you're like, oh, this
Drip
is like
or drown.
Yeah, we're in the Matrix now, and I can feel it in the air. I can smell the green in the air. That's what it feels like.
Why do I feel green?
Yeah, why do I just feel the green around me?
Oh man.
Yeah, and then I feel like I'm bouncing around because there's so much that happens. There's so much action, and it's so good. There's so many fight sequences that are just. I mean, did
you want to try to keep like some kind of continuity to this, or did you want to?
I'm trying to a little bit, but I just
hit all the moments.
I keep wanting to go to the iconic fight sequences.
Yeah,
just the goons in that, like the stairwell fight,
the twins,
the twins.
Yeah.
Directly after that, the one that actually kind of made me feel like really anxious and kind of on the edge of my seat because I think it was shot well is the Morpheus fight on the 18-wheeler
on the freeway.
Dude, there's a couple of shots for that where I'm like, oh no, like it's amazing because of the way it's done. It's like I know it's obviously a fight and it's not real, but it's also shot really well. And there's all these like moments of kind of slow motion. And, obviously
the colliding trucks.
Right. And then there's like a very, not only is it a moving truck on the freeway, but it's also like a narrow place to fight in a certain way. It's just an awkward battlefield. So anyways, you can imagine.
Very limited real estate to work with.
Right. Yeah. So anyways.
Dude, I love that he just took a katana from the display in that French Fox mansion.
Oh, gosh. We're talking about all the fun things and all like the things that are iconic, but man, like the plot and like the undertones,
it's crazy.
Or like, of all the like, there's like a lot of like really big brain stuff going on here, all up until the end. I don't want to talk about the end right now because we'll talk about it in a minute, but like. Once we meet like the architect at the end, we're starting to deal with some stuff where I'm like, oh shit, and like now we're like.
Things are starting to come into frame.
Have you ever like zoomed out on Earth and then the solar system and then the galaxy and then the universe, like that kind of thing? Is what it feels like. We're like getting like 4 or 5 levels deep into this Inception Matrix thing. And I'm like, oh damn! Now we're too deep.
Even you are part of the program.
Yeah. You were one of 6, and I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, I have questions.
There was 5 motherfuckers before me.
Yeah. But so anyways, like the what is his name? The Chancellor. Chancellor Hama, another.
One of the counselors.
Counselors, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a point in time where even he is talking to Neo, and as he's talking to him, like they're talking about control.
Yeah.
And it's these conversations, these
goes down to the engineering section.
Right. But they start talking about these. They start talking about what like the real core plot of the movie is here, and it's like choice and control, cause and effect kind of stuff. And they kind of really dig deep into, the counselor is standing there and he's like, what is control? What are these machines here? And he's like, well, control is like we can shut them off whenever we want.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's true, but then like, who's going to
think of the repercussions?
Yeah. How are we going to keep the lights on, or the water, or the heat for even, like that kind of stuff?
The
and he's
air
like,
even.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. So we need them in a way. We need each other. And he's like, yeah. And that's kind of like, isn't that what control is? Like the power of choice or the power of, being in control of a situation.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff, which is, true. And also,
a bit morbid in their scenario.
Right, yeah. talking about obviously the alien computer creatures that are
the Sentinels.
Trying to harvest them.
Mm-hmm.
But that thought kind of prevails throughout the film, even to like you said, the French douchebag guy.
Right.
I was trying to find his character name. I couldn't think of it. I know his wife was Persephone. That's it was like a unique name for me to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find him here though.
Who cares?
Who cares? He was a scumbag.
He was a fucking weirdo.
He was a weirdo. He was a real weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as the movie is going along too, there's all these. I really love Link. The more we get a chance to see him and his
He's the most average Joe.
Oh yeah, but he also is he is. I feel like the audience's voice in the movie.
Yeah.
But definitely. I know there's a lot of times where like comic relief characters will try to do that, or they'll try to have a comic or or some sort of character
be
that
relatable, but not really.
Right, or the one that kind of like a lot of times they mask it with I think comic relief or comedic timing and stuff. Yeah. But like those kind of characters that are like it's what the audience is thinking but not saying, or what everyone's thinking but not wanting to say. Yeah. Whereas in this instance, I thought his character did a really great job because a lot of times he was like, he's getting hyped and excited for what's going on.
He doesn't know what's happening most of the time because of how many back doors in the system they end up going through. Every time that happens, he's just like, where you go?
Yeah. My favorite.
What happened?
There's whenever they hit time number 2 or 3, they go to the back doors and they kind of go off the mainframe and you can't see them. He goes, not again. That is what I think he said. He's like, not again. I love it.
Yeah.
But I think it's also just a testament to the actor too, because like the first time that it happens, he's like sitting on the computer and he disappears. He's like, wait, where'd he go? And it's like it just feels very authentic and real in this moment. And
good stuff.
Yeah. And then of course, like all the times where Neo does something crazy or something really awesome. He's like, I mean, he just has this look of amazement, and he's like, "Oh my god,
damn!
I can't believe he did it! My God, he done it!" It's like that kind of stuff, and he's my favorite character, I think, so far.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, besides all the other epic, amazing, star-studded cast of all the people that make that movie happen, he's just the one that I connected with in a lot of ways because I was like, yeah. Same.
You're right.
I feel
God indeed.
By God indeed. I said that whenever we saw French scumbag guy and we saw Persephone,
his wife. God,
his wife.
By God.
But yeah, he sits down at the table and that's the first thing I said. I was like, by God.
More than a few bugalls.
Yeah, exactly. So funny.
Ethan's not here to answer for his crimes.
No. I wish he was.
Supplanting that joke within our subconscious.
Yeah. But yeah. What a great fun time this was.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have any favorite moments or favorite scenes in this movie that was?
Oh, man. I'm going to have to go with...
I mean, there's like that.
It's hard to choose.
While you're thinking about that for a second, another thing that I didn't know was going to happen was one of the Smiths takes control of a guy, and then of course the guy leaves out into the human world, and so apparently there's like a human out there that's like infected with the Smith virus.
Right. He's been smithed.
Smithed. And may I say, this is not a scary movie. I wouldn't say it's probably a bit suspenseful.
Yeah, definitely.
It has a dark,
thrilling to be sure,
a dark kind of aesthetic. You know, kind of like spooky, apocalyptic almost in nature. But may I say, the most terrifying thing in this entire film is when people get agented. Whenever they get, I just want to call it Smithed, but I know that it's not. They're not. I'm telling you, there's like a point in time. I forgot when it was. It's like probably well into like the second act of the film. Yeah. Whenever, it's during the fight sequence. It's during the fight sequence with all the Smiths in the courtyard. The one I'm talking about with the pole.
A lady walks by
and notices what's going on, and then she just like and then
bam.
agented.
Yeah.
But it looks like, I mean, because of like the kind of weird special effects animation, it looks almost like
spaz out,
cartoonish,
go through a model change.
Right, but it also looks like she's being possessed by a demon that is like contorting her,
body,
everything into all of it, and just it's nightmare fuel because they're also like screaming and crying and wailing, and of course they're like, and then you're like, oh my god, what is happening? And of course they're like, I'm a man in a suit now, and you're like, oh, what?
It's like, all right, cool, wow.
I'm in.
Like, I didn't know we could do that.
What happened to the lady?
She's gone.
Yeah. Oh, right. There's another, like I said, during that same fight sequence with Morpheus on the truckers. There's a guy in a truck just minding his own business, and he's like, I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? Why is he dying? Yeah, that's crazy. It's nuts, man.
He's not dying. He's just been selected as a playable character.
I know, but it feels like the transformation is a
harrowing and painful one.
Right, it is a very painful process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you ever heard turning into a werewolf apparently is like a very painful and aggressive process. It feels like that, where it's like you get agented and you're just like your skin slinks off your body, and you're just like,
I am now a businessman with a desert eagle.
Oh god, it's so crazy. I love it though.
Mm-hmm. A very good enemy type.
Yeah,
I like it a lot,
especially for like a computer sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Yeah, the men of zeros and ones.
Yes. So the only thing I have to say, so we get the keymaker.
Yeah.
So the Oracle, here's how the chain of events goes. Oracle tells us we got to make some choices.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already kind of made the decisions. We just got to figure out why we're making the decisions.
Right.
She tells us we got to go to this guy because this guy knows where the keymaker is. Mm-hmm. This guy is the scummy French guy, by the way.
Right.
So we go to him, and he tries to like give us the runaround. His wife ends up helping us out because he's cheating on his wife because he's also a scumbag.
Right.
And then we find the keymaker, go on a crazy goose chase, and then he ends up telling us this whole plan. And he is apparently one of those like programs that he was like, this is just what I was programmed to do.
I know because I have to know.
Yeah, I know because I'm allowed to know. Mm-hmm. But there's this building, and in this building is an access to like the back rooms,
right?
Or I guess it's like where the back rooms is held, I guess, in some capacity. But then there's this door, and this door can only be opened at the strike of midnight with no power to like to the building, or there's like a whole bunch of quest objectives you have to prerequisites to the quest before you can actually get to the door that's supposed to open. Mm-hmm. We get there, Keymaker dies in the process and gives him the
master key,
if you will. Mm-hmm. And this is what's going to get us into the glowing door. And he is like,
the scary door.
You'll know what the door is.
Right.
So
takes him to the fucking Twilight Zone.
Right. And Neo opens the door, and he's in a room full of room full of television screen. Mm-hmm. What are they called? SRT? CRT? Yeah. So specifically CRT monitors. Mm-hmm. It's all for the refresh rate.
Of course.
And so
it runs the best.
Right. You can't beat it. At least not when you're regaling previous events in history.
Nah.
Have to have that. And this is when I think either doing some more research or having a second watch of the film is going to help me out. Because personally, I was hearing what was going on, and it was some really big brain stuff. And we're also talking about like the bigger picture and decisions of like the human race and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of got lost in some of like the logistics of it.
Oh yeah.
because of the things that were said. Like a lot of the things that were said in that room with the architect,
right,
have not been talked about so far. Mm-hmm. So Neo is there, and so could you help me understand? So the architect is saying there was like that Neo's not unique. Has there been other Neos before him, or is
5 other iterations of his program have been at this juncture in time before. It's part of like a system reset, like built in. Like every time Neo gets to this point, he goes to the source, and then it chooses, I think it was 23 males and 16 females to restart the human race after this reset.
Okay.
And then after that point, it will proceed with the 100 Years' War, and they'll go back to that point eventually. He's describing Neo as just a part of the system,
right?
A routine to run through.
So does that mean that he's not a real person, or is it just saying like it just?
See,
it's
that's the iffy part about it.
Okay.
Because I mean that's what you're meant to question is like, is he actually even human or not?
Right.
But
because so what I was getting confused by, I was like, is there time travel involved, or because how does that correlate with the real world?
It's supposed to make you question if the real world is actually real, or if it's just part of the Matrix.
Oh God!
Yeah.
What?
Simulation within a simulation type shit.
Oh man, here we go. See, this is why, and here we go, folks at home. This is why I got lost because for a second he was talking about some things with certain confidence. Where he was like, it's all about choice,
right?
And it's like, and this is
the problem is choice,
right? And he's like, and it's also alluded to the fact that this has also happened a handful of times because
the different iterations of Neo being depicted through these monitors are like lashing out
or responding in different ways. Yeah. And then of course there's one that's like more calm and collected that like it then focuses in on, and like the CRT screen kind of fades away, and
that's our current Neo.
Right. And then he's like responding in like a more logical way.
Right.
And then the architect kind of compliments him on like, oh, you're quicker than the other iterations.
Yeah.
And then the same sort of thing happens. He talks for a while, monologues for a bit about some like real deep, big brain shit. And then of course, the rest of them kind of lash out in different ways. And he's like, but what if, and then you're like, anyway, so there's like a whole lot of stuff going on. And I'm like, man, I really got to digest this like a second time to really understand what's happening here. Cause man,
it's one of my favorite exchanges.
Because it's great. It's beautiful. Not only that, the actor for it, who is, I think his name is Helmut, Bakaitis, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. Yeah. Well, Mr. Helmut, or Helmu, however you pronounce it.
It's okay.
A beautiful voice.
Yes.
He's
very eloquent.
He has that velvety voice, and he's like, "It's all inevitable." And you're like, "Oh man, just keep."
Been waiting for you.
Right. Yeah, and it has that kind of like, it's nice and. It's just nice to listen to. Yeah. So you're just like, as he's describing what's going on, you're like, yeah, I could just sit here and listen to you talk.
Do you, by chance, read audiobooks?
Yeah, I can just hear you talk about the end of the world forever.
Right.
But like another big thing he's talking about is the idea that like, this is what tripped me up. Once he said this, I was like, as to not sound dumb on the show, I was comprehending all of what he was saying. But until he says this one line is when I was like, okay, now I'm questioning a lot. I need like something to preface all this.
Right.
Is when he's like, in this current moment, you can make a decision between the two doors. But just know that the Sentinels are on their way to go take Zion.
Within a day.
They
will be destroyed.
And this is our 6th time at doing this, and they've gotten really efficient at it. And I was like, okay, whoa.
You know what it makes me think of now that I am able to compare the two?
What's that?
The Vex from Destiny.
Whoa. Yep. I was also kind of thinking a little callback to last episode, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
in a kind of in a little way, not so much, but like
it's similar.
We can reset back to a certain time and let's try it again.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of finish the game and just reset a quick save, and you're like, nah, good. Let's go ahead and go back and
solve. New game plus. Let's go.
New game plus. I kind of still get all the money, and I can just
Yeah, I can upgrade as many mechs as I want.
Right, I can just grind my way to the end.
Tear ass through the main campaign.
Right. I'll make a handful more smiths while I'm at it.
Right.
But anyways, once he said that, that's when I started I start really questioning things, and I'm like, okay, because again, stop me if you've heard this before, because I've said this on the podcast, and for anybody who has listened for any length of time, you guys know I'm not a big fan of time travel. It just gets messy. It gets hard to follow, and to be honest, I get lost because I'm one to question a lot of things. And then once we start questioning things is when we start getting into rabbit holes and and in different timelines and all. I'm like, oh God, please no. It just becomes much more of a mess than I care to get involved in sometimes. Right. So when he was talking about that and he was like, we have perfected the art of killing Zion over 6 times, and I was like, so help me God, if we're going to be dealing with time travel here, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this right now. But anyway, so that's the only thing that was really tripping me up when it comes to that that part of the film. But yeah, I love the discussion. He has to choose between 2 doors. One of them is to go and save Trinity, and the other one is to save Zion. Is that right?
To go to the source and begin the reset.
Oh, before Zion,
right?
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes it more. But the reset, he said, it's going to kill. Oh no, sorry, it's the other way around. If he saves Trinity,
it will cause the extinction of the entirety of humanity.
Oh man, that's heavy.
Yeah,
but he's saying that of course you're going to lose Trinity if you choose the other option, which is going to be the big reset. And of course, is that hypothetically going to reset before he was taken out of the Matrix in the first place?
Yes.
Oh my God. My God.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense now that I'm talking it through. I'm understanding it more. Yeah. So, anyways, regardless, he chooses the path with Trinity, potentially destroying. And then he gives a good callback to earlier in the show with the counselor.
Yeah,
when he's like, "Well, you can't kill all of the humans, because you're gonna need some to and he's like, "Well, we've got some contingencies in order to make that happen," and it's like. Ew. Way to make us. Yeah. I mean, anyways, it's just that kind of stuff. So anyways, he ends up choosing the path with Trinity, and I would wager, hits his final form.
Wait a second. What were you alluding to with the whole contingencies thing?
Oh, it was just the idea. It was it felt like Neo was trying to
find a loophole with the architect.
Possibly, because it feels like the architect is not only is Zion going to fall, but it's also
disconnect every single human being.
Right. And so, and then I'm pretty sure, with a lot of confidence, the architect says
there are levels of survival we are willing to.
Well, I'm saying before that, he was saying not only is everyone in Zion going to die, but also all the pods that do have any humans in it are going to be disconnected and everyone's going to die, effectively killing off the entire human race. So that's okay, so you're killing everyone.
Right.
So Neo was but
you need us.
Symbiotic relationship here. And then of course he's like, well, we do, we do have some reserves of things that can. So it was just it was interesting to see that it felt in that moment it was we got you. But then the architect was well, we do have some contingencies in place. That doesn't mean
us, but do you really?
Not necessarily. So it's for me, it made me think what does that mean long term?
Yeah, I'm thinking he was talking about going back to just basic operation.
Right. That's what I figured.
No higher thought.
I just liked the callback to it and the fact that it was also like screw you. But then, of course, the article was like, but screw you in a way, in some weird thing. Anyways, so he chooses the door to go save Trinity. Mm-hmm. He ends up popping back in the Matrix, and he goes,
yeah,
final form.
Oh, yeah.
Super Saiyan. What is it called?
Ultra Instinct.
Ultra Instinct. Wait, which one is it? Is it?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, he goes crazy, and then just starts.
A torrent follows in this man's wake.
I love it so much because it gets
ridiculous.
He gets to such a level of top speed that you're like, even if you catch Trinity, I feel like you're gonna snap her in half with how fast you're going.
She's gonna explode, dude.
Because there's a point where he's like, he is flying about as fast as he normally has in his like Superman form, blasting through all the fire, all the stuff's going on. It's like crazy and chaotic. He gets out of the main streets and he's flying. And then there's one part where he flies past so fast. And then you see the windows and buildings ripple and shatter, and you're like, "Oh hell yeah!"
But he doesn't stop there.
No. Dylan wasn't kidding when he said a torrent, because then he just starts picking up debris and cars as just this tornado of like speed and wind. And then he gets
the fuck wave is coming.
For me, correct. For me, I have only heard this. I've heard this from some sort of scientific or some sort of like science fiction novel or some such nonsense.
Right.
That obviously, if you're traveling at the speed of light, it's going to be dark because light won't be able to like you'll be
faster.
Yeah,
than
right.
light.
So that light will freeze, or it will, or you won't be able to perceive light the same way because you're moving the same speed, if not faster.
Yeah.
Well, there's a point in time where like
he damn near gets close.
Well, like the world starts to shift around him and like goes dark in a way, and I was like, this man is about to go into warp speed.
Right.
And then he swoops down and of course catches Trinity before she hits the ground, and then
the agent that was falling after her crashes onto a car and then is swept away.
And then it's just blasted away. There's cars, debris, dirt, rocks, all of it. It's just gone. Yes.
Imagine just like stepping on an ant and then getting obliterated by an 18-wheeler.
And then if that's not enough, we cut to our man Link, and he's like, I can't believe it caught her. He's like, I actually did it. Yeah. And it's like, we're all thinking that. It's so great.
Yeah.
And I love it. So anyways, it's just a wild ride.
It's amazing.
But the conversation that happens after that was what I was like getting to is how do you effectively meet like the god of a world and like kind of get told that like all of this is all fake and this has all just kind of been like a repeating thing for a while, and you're just
part of the process,
doom and gloom, and then come back to reality and have all your friends and family around you just kind of talking with you, and Morpheus is still like, this is part of the prophecy, and like you just been told that like there's really no such thing, it's all just kind of what you make it at this point. And it's like
a big ruse.
Right. And so it just is like for me, it put me in the headspace of like, man, how do you ascend to godhood and then come back down and then try and just
rationalize that you're a normal guy?
Right. Like the real thing that got me is that like you and me are just people. Neither one of us are better than each other. We're friends. I believe you trust me, I trust you, kind of thing. So like putting ourselves in like Morpheus and Neo's place is like getting to that point and then coming back and having your friend go like, no, it's this way. And you're like, buddy, I love you the most, but like I really saw some things and like all of this isn't real anymore. And it's like, how do you, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you rationalize that kind of thing where it's like, he's a grown ass man. He can make his own decisions. And if Morpheus wants to believe it, that's fine. But at the same time, like, how do you sit here and go, It's just not what it is. Anyways, it's that kind of stuff. For me, I thought that was interesting conversation because there's Link there, and Link obviously looks distraught because I'm pretty sure his whole family's dead now. Or is,
no, they're still safe.
Okay,
they haven't gotten to the city yet.
Okay, but I mean, so still, the actor has like a visible look of concern on his face for good reason because he's like, what is happening?
Right.
Trinity is just trying to understand what Neo's talking about.
Yeah.
And Morpheus is like, we got this. We've got this. It's all part of the prophecy. And Neo's like, dude,
bro.
Yeah, bro.
Fight's still gone.
So yeah. Anyways, I loved the whole plot of this film.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
It really made me think. It really pushed the boundaries on some like really cool science fiction stuff. Mm-hmm. I can see why these films. I'm not sure how the second one, as far as like the fans are concerned, I'm not sure how the second one like holds up to the first one, like in other people's minds.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said before, I'm kind of a sucker of like a really well written sequel.
Yeah. I think it's that, or at least the consensus is that the first two are great, but the third one just kind of falls off.
Really?
Doesn't quite stick the landing.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
It will be an episode for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're already 2 out of 3 deep.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in this time next year.
Right. For reals this time.
Yeah, for real.
I'm honestly debating keeping Revolutions or shit.
I forgot what the newest one was called, but
no, I'm talking about the third one. I want to have the third one for the end of year episode.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
We went a little long on this one because I just kept wanting to talk about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I had some interesting fun facts.
The facts.
Yeah, the facts. One thing I can say that is also interesting is that this film is like a science fiction movie, or is a science fiction movie. Mm-hmm. It's an action movie, but it also feels like like a kung fu movie in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it just is. I never knew that. I didn't know if that was like I think we actually talked about that.
It's kung fu.
I think we talked about that on the first one, but this one, like every fight sequence has just this like hand-to-hand combat feel. Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Here's a little tidbit for you. One of the most memorable scenes in Reloaded is the highway chase scene. Mm-hmm. Cars and motorcycles battle and crashed in a highway to create an intense fight sequence.
Yeah.
That highway wasn't a real highway. Most films request permission from a state or city to use like roadways and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the Reloaded production built a highway and you saw in the movie from scratch. It was about 1.5 miles of asphalt constructed on a decommissioned Navy base.
No way.
That's awesome. In Alameda. When the movie was done, the entire highway was destroyed, actually, so it no longer exists.
That would have been nice to keep around.
And it said that GM donated 300 cars, which were also destroyed during and after production was completed. Nice. It says that years afterwards, that Navy base was used by the shows of Mythbusters as test grounds.
That's awesome.
It was Mythbusters to test between 2 semis, much like what happens in Reloaded. Like they crash into each other.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that they just explode after that too.
Oh yeah, I mean they're crazy.
Like, boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Indeed. Was
here's a
okay. I
was trying to find the other one I was looking at. I'm sorry for the awkward pause. The agent. This is the one I was wanting to get to here. Mm-hmm. Is the Agent Smith fight scene took 27 days to shoot.
It
took a whole month to shoot that thing. It said that While the freeway chase scene was the most memorable in a lot of ways, the scene in Reloaded that was the most impressive and the most fun to watch was where Neo fights multiple Agent Smiths. This fight sequence is also known as the Burly Brawl.
Mm-hmm.
That's what might seem
a cool name.
What might seem crazy is that one scene took 27 days to shoot. Some movies are shot in full in the same amount of time as this one scene is. The combination of motion capture and CGI, it's no wonder it took that long to make it all happen.
Insanity.
How many Smiths does Neo fight? You want to go ahead and wager a number?
Oh, God. I'm going to say at least 80.
You hit the nail on the head.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
They actually made 80 different Agent Smiths.
Wow.
Or they awesome. Between CGI and the real ones or whatever. Mm-hmm. And also stunt doubles. Another interesting tidbit about the scene is the sound effects. Foley artist used toppling dominoes and bowling balls knocking around over the pins to simulate punches and kicks. This, of course, all had to be added during post-production. So, that's
amazing. I just like to think that it's like the stock bowling like strike noise every time Neo hits a Smith.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, there's that whole right. Oh, man, that's so funny. Mm-hmm. It said that Sean Connery turned down a role because he didn't understand it. He was gonna play the architect.
Oh.
I'm Sean Connery and I'm the architect. And then also it said that
whole contraption.
Yeah, it said that oh God, I can't speak right now. I'm tired. All lead actors were injured on the set at one point in time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
A lot of stunts and stuff were happening, and so a lot of people. The lady that played Trinity, Carrie Ann Moss, actually broke her leg doing wire stunts. So you know, it's crazy.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Well,
I think that's worth a stone drop. Let's say, very good.
Yeah. Man, what a wild ride that was.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to have anything else to add? You want to try and describe this in 3 words?
Oh, God.
By God, Neo.
By God. Let's see. Fastball special.
Fastball special.
Yes.
What a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say fine dressed virus.
Hey, yo.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, if you are looking to reach out to us, or if you're trying to find all the different platforms that we have this wonderful podcast on, you can go to Linktree/Ian Wolf, and you should be able to find all those places, or you can just type in the Aftermath on all the places. You should be able to find us. It's not that hard. Or you can caress a dove and then put a missive amongst its leg, and then release it, and then give it 3 days, and it will come back, and then you will have the episodes on your RSS feed.
What the fuck are you talking about right now?
I was just throwing it out there,
All right.
Or if for any of those out there who actually have Matrix mainframes, you can just tap it into the back of your brain.
The magic words are "I'm in."
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then click your heels 3 times.
Otherwise, go find that bird right now.
Yeah, right. But anyways, until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See ya.
Bye-bye.